Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 124 of the Everything Moto Racing podcast. I hope you're well. We are back with a bang, shall we say. It's myself and Cameron this time. How you doing?
Hello, I am very well. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. Obviously we haven't got Lauren this time round. Big sad. We're going to miss her input.
What? Yeah. I think, is Lauren not sort of just off having a really nice time?
Jet setting.
Yeah,
I don't even
jet
know where
setting.
she is at the moment.
I don't know if we're allowed to know. She told us she'd have to kill us.
Yeah, that's
I think it's
it,
one of those.
that's it.
Yeah.
I do value my life. So
Do
I'm
you?
not gonna...
Well, that's an
I know.
improvement.
I know. Thanks to my therapist. Wait, I'm joking.
Shout out.
Anyway, yeah, so we've had a number now, not all of them, but a number of the MotoGP team unveilings.
Mm-hmm.
I think in a few weeks, what we'll do, we'll try and rank them out of, and put them into a ranking. I think that'll be quite fun.
Yeah.
Just rank them.
Could be interesting. Yeah, write that down.
Yeah, write that down. But they're pretty unimaginative, most of them. Yamaha are identical, KTM's identical.
Yeah. The VR46 one, VR46 is different.
It's very different.
And
yeah, Honda is tomorrow of the day recording.
Ooh, I wonder what a Repsol Honda is going to look like.
It will genuinely be different. It's going to have
true.
HRC colours in it.
That is true. Yeah. Oh, actually.
It's genuinely going to be different.
Could be really, really nice then, actually.
Yeah. So the Repsol, I know the Repsol's going to feature less on the livery now. Because in testing, Honda was the big sponsor on the side of the fair,
Right.
not Repsol.
Okay, actually.
So that's
because, I'm always a fan of, the HRC liveries and stuff, and superbikes and stuff. I think they're...
Did you see the new livery?
Yes.
The new HRC livery in World Superbike, that is so nice.
It is. And I'm... Do you know what? If we get something similar in MotoGP, I'll be very happy, actually. Good point.
Yeah, me too. Because I like the fact that they had, each rider had the opposite shoulder and opposite side of their body was, blue stripe down it.
Just little things.
So, Lacronis is, the right side and Vierge left side. It's just cool.
Yeah. Big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan. It was like that BSB Honda livery a few years ago. Oh, man.
Sensational.
Think about
nice.
that.
The white one.
Least.
Is that the white one?
Yeah, the white one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about that once a day, honestly.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Yeah, we've had a few. We've had, obviously, Red Bull KTM today, of the day of recording. Yamaha the other day, which is identical before testing. Gas Red Bull.
I
like that one.
Yeah, I do. I like that.
That one's cool.
Yeah.
The Trackhouse one, I don't know, I'm a bit on the fence with, to be honest.
I can't even picture it. 2 seconds. And listen to my noisy keyboard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The proper... Is that the official livery I'm looking at right now?
Let's have a look.
Oh, yeah, the kind of
I don't know what
sterile
you're looking
guard.
Yeah,
as well.
The one where...
Yeah.
Because I know they did a fake one.
Yeah, the sort of... No, the official one is quite cool. I like the sort of white detailing on the rims and stuff. That's quite smart.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit like it was done on a video game livery editor.
Yeah, there's a lot of obviously USA
There
flag in it,
is.
which makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not against that. I think just the overall kind of imaginative. But then I was about to say the stripes on it are a bit basic, but then I guess stars and stripes in it. So it checks out. It's not the worst I've seen. It's cool. We'll take
really
it.
Not. Yeah. And it's interesting to me that the only real sponsors on the side are Trackhouse and Stelgarda. They've not got a massive major sponsor. And in NASCAR, I don't know how NASCAR works, but each car has a different main sponsor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like Formula 2, where a driver will drive a car by a team, but then there will be another sponsor over the top of that. For example, if you're a Red Bull driver, you can drive for Carlin, but it has to be in a Red Bull livery.
Right.
I think it's that in NASCAR, where you drive for the Trackhouse team with your M&M sponsor or your Red Bull, your Coca-Cola. But so they're not really affiliated with too many brands as Trackhouse. It's normally with the drivers. So it's interesting to see, you got your GoPro on there. Still Garda,
FC.
because it's part of Max Racing team as well, still.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting to not see a major sponsor. I expected them to bring a big sponsor, big money and things like that.
I mean, just because there's not huge sponsors doesn't mean there's not big money, I suppose.
Yeah, that's very true.
Mr.
Maybe
Worldwide.
they don't need the money.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't need the money because all the sponsors, because they've got the money.
If those sponsors would ruin the stars and stripes on the bike, then we don't need them, you know?
Yeah, that's it. And it's nice to see that the Americans are looking at MotoGP as a, an investment to be making within the racing, because it's quite left field for a NASCAR team to come and join MotoGP.
Definitely. I think if this is a kind of path for, let's say, the American racing team, Moto2 riders as well, like if it's, obviously results do come first, but if it does get you as more of a shoo-in if you're one of those riders, then only a good thing, because it's been too long since we've had a successful American in the Premier class.
Yeah, I'd agree. What interests me as well is there's a lot going into Moto America this year, and I will go back onto liveries in a minute, but it's quite interesting. There's a lot going on in Moto America this year. There are a lot of riders that are ending up over there. Glenn Irwin in BSB is still heavily rumoured to be going over there.
Oh, really?
Loris Baz is back there this year. Going back to the Warhorse Ducati, there was an interview on the Everything Moto Racing site with Loris Baz as of about 3 days ago.
Oh.
We sat down with Loris Baz and had a chat about it. So that's on the Everything Moto Racing website if you want to read that one. It's quite a good one. And there's a lot of riders. You've got, who is it? The Australian Superbike champion. What's his name? Troy Herfoss.
I saw that earlier, yeah.
Yeah, he's off to race the baggers over there. You've got there's a NASCAR driver, I can't remember the name for the life of me, and his dad have invested in a Ducati team. That's the one that Ben Spies will be the team manager of,
right?
With Corey Alexander, PJ Jacobson, and Kalle Yakov riding for the team.
Cool.
And that super sport class this year is stacked with talent. There are riders coming down from Superbike to race in Supersport. It is absolutely insane. And the Bags is going to be saying Baggers will be a support race of Kota MotoGP this year as well.
Amazing.
It's going to be epic.
I love the Baggers. You know my feelings on the Baggers.
Sick.
So entertaining.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great racing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, obviously, we had Carl Wyman on here a little while ago, and he was like, they're about 4 seconds off Superbikes. Now they're about 2 or 1 second slower than Superbikes now.
It's wild. It really is. Crazy. I love it. Love to see it. It's awesome. Crazy stuff like that we need. You know what? Like, let's have a season with MotoGP where they just have to stick a couple of saddlebags on the side and deal with it.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
It's like the big fat air intake out the side of them as well and everything. It's just cool. I just think it's cool. I love it.
It is awesome. And there's a lot more money being put into the sport, I think, at the moment, which is nice to see, especially over in the American side of things, and long may it continue. Obviously, you've got BSB's got a bit more support and money. Cheshire Mouldings are expanding their sponsorship with the TAS Racing Squad with Rory Skinner and David Todd.
Yep.
It's great, and there's more to come, I guess.
Let's go.
Yes. But yeah, back through the liveries. Yeah, the Pertamina Enduro 346 one's a bit of an eyesore. I'm not a fan.
I'm kind of neutral with it, in as much as like it's not the worst, but like at least it's different. Do you know what I mean? They could have done the sort of like grey or black again, with the odd bit of like yellow in there or whatever. But no, they're like, do you know what? Let's have something that you're gonna like. Do you know what? It looks like a special livery. You could you'd imagine that for like a one-off at Misano or something.
Misano, yeah.
But no, this is the standard livery. So I'm not against them pushing the boat out, to be honest. You certainly recognise it on track, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think somebody did a mock-up where it was just they took all the yellow out of it and made it white, and that looked really good.
Yeah, like a white bike.
But yeah, me too. And then the Lenovo Ducati actually was a big improvement. I really like that.
I can't even picture it, to be honest. I feel like it was almost a copy-paste again, wasn't it?
It was slightly similar. they had the behind the numbers. There's like this little like I can't explain it. But there's like a little design behind the number,
Oh,
and
yes.
there's a bit of red down the
Yep.
fairing on the tank as well. And I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's a red bike at the end of the day
Yeah,
that
that's
says
it.
Lenovo on the side. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's like little kind of details in it that just have a little bit more
Gives it a little
pizzazz.
personality, yeah, and pizzazz.
Mm,
And then, of
indeed.
course, the first livery to be unveiled was the Grassini, which was again identical.
I know. It's such an opportunity to really make something, I don't know, take advantage of the hype and be like, look at this
Yeah,
mad
like
bike.
we got
'Cause
Marc Marquez.
Yeah.
like, let's do something.
I'm sure
And
I
then-
saw like a mock-up of like a really heavily Red Bull
Yeah, that was
liveried
done
one.
by. God, who was that done by? I can't remember now. I should know because I know him personally.
Oh gosh.
So that's really bad. Who is Motor Design? That's it on Instagram. Did it.
Man, that I found that mock-up to be like one of the best looking bikes I've seen. I thought if that was
Yeah.
in any way accurate, I was like, man, that's going to be amazing. But nope, not to be.
Oh yeah, no, just wasn't to be. I know it's a shame. Yeah, big shame.
Big shame.
Also, we're talking about. I was talking about Moto America. I've just got a message from a Moto America rider. His race bike will be on display this week at the NBA All Star Week,
Oh, cool.
and his bike and sponsorship will be like for show with a concept from T-Pain, Lil Wayne, and more, with 25,000 people per day.
Well, that's
That's
good exposure.
insane.
Yeah, nice.
for a Moto America rider again. Like what?
Lovely.
Yeah, that's really
Very
cool.
cool.
I like that. Yeah. But yes, on to the actual main topic of the conversation, which
Oh.
is testing.
Yeah.
And I think there's a few big talking points, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, we're talking about him a lot. I mean, he's like one of the biggest names at the moment, biggest hot property in MotoGP at the moment. But Pedro Acosta, under the official lap record, is insane.
That's actually silly. Like
That is just stupid.
you can all these, because you read the comments on social media, and they're like, oh, it's different
Yeah.
track conditions. You can't take this.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. He was still 9th fastest over the weekend.
Yeah.
Like out of a field of 23 riders took part, or have at least been like are on the timesheets.
Yeah.
To be ahead of Quartararo, Vinales, like Miller. Sure, like not everyone did a time attack, all this stuff. Like Bez is way down the order. Oliveira, Marini, like sure, Marini's on a new bike, but so is Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
I just really lost for words, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like he absolutely belongs in the GP paddock. And I think he has silenced anyone who may have thought he was possibly overrated.
Yeah, because that's a big topic. People are like, oh, he's overrated. He hasn't really got much competition. He's this, he's that. Like, oh, I had somebody go on Twitter when I said, oh, he's a faster than, he's in the 58s on when it was a shakedown, and someone was like, oh, wait till he's out on track with the big boys and all that. And then he was out on track with the big boys, and he goes and gets it done. And I know it's not in a race weekend, and yes, the track was cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And the conditions were different to what you'd find on a race weekend. And yes, there was 6 days of tarmac on that track, meaning grip levels were at an all-time high. Of course, there are all these things into play, but he still was 9th.
Yeah.
He still was under the fastest lap time that Bagnaia ever put down at the Sepang 2023 race weekend. He's riding with the big boys, and he's staying with them, and he's beating some of them.
Yeah. Well, who else is on a KTM/Gas? We've got Binder is the only one quicker than him, right? On the same bike.
That's correct. Yeah.
Then we've got Miller half a second away.
Yeah.
And then we've got... Who else have we got? Wait, have we got Miller?
Augusto Fernandez.
Oh, did we have Fernandez? Where's Fernandez? Oh, yeah. A second and a half away.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, like we don't know the strategy and like plan for each of these riders, but you like to think they would have tried to go as quick as they could at some point through the weekend.
Yeah.
And put in like a hot lap. And for him to be nearly as quick as Binder, I think it's scary.
It is scary. You can see, actually, because I don't know what you're looking at, but what I'm looking at, it'll say like lap, and it'll be a number / another number, and that'll be the lap they set the time on.
Yeah.
So Pedro set the time in his 12th of 41 laps. Binder only beat Pedro at the end on his last lap of the session. Meaning, for a lot of that test, Pedro was the fastest KTM.
It's wild, man. It really is. Like, I'm so excited. And, if people being like, oh, he needs to get on track, it's not the same as a race. Like, we know that Acosta is not afraid of racing. He is just not afraid of ruffling feathers. And he's not going to do a Vinales and duck out of a move if he doesn't think it'll be squeaky clean. He'll go for it, and he'll let you know he's there. Oh, it's going to be a great season. Oh, it's going to be good. Do you know what? We say this every year. But like, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing season. I feel like we get let down a little bit every time. But I think this year
is going to be the year.
It's going to be rather good.
There's so much riding on it. So much hype. Like, there's so many good riders. And, you got Pedro, obviously. And the last thing I'll say about Pedro, that he was faster than Bagnaia over 9 laps on the sprint. So if you compare Pedro Acosta's 9 sprint laps, they were faster than Bagnaia's were at the race weekend. Of course, Pedro wasn't racing anybody.
Yeah.
And that's different. You got the pressure, you got the other people to actually overtake, but still
but neither was
impressive.
Pecco.
Yeah, that's true.
But
it's like the top 4 riders were in the 56s. We'd never even seen a 56 before we went here. And then Bagnaia puts a 56.6 in. And then 4 other riders follow him into the 56s, including Alex Marquez on a year-old bike.
Yep. And you know that Alex only did that just so that he wasn't being beat by his brother. Like, he just couldn't. He could not leave the Sepang Test further down the sheets than Marc. And he didn't. Yeah. But, no. I mean, shall we segue on to Marc now? Or do you want to save it?
Yeah, it's a nice way to link up. Because Marc has said multiple times in the media recently, like, I'm still adapting to the bike. There's still this, there's still that. And he and Marini, it's quite interesting. Marini said that the way you ride the Honda is different to the Ducati because of the way the rear grip works. And Marc Marquez, hilariously, said exactly the opposite to Marini. They weren't even in the same room as each other when they said these things, but they both said the same thing the opposite way round. Marc's like, well, the Ducati has better grip, so I've got to ride the bike differently to this. But it was a way that they both said the same thing. It was quite funny to me.
Gosh. It's... Yeah, like you say, he's still getting used to it, and he's... I
think he's sandbagging,
Well, it was interesting hearing... Simon Crafer's sort of assessment of that, saying that he could see him sort of deliberately shooting wide on the last corner, just to bring back the lap times a little bit, and then he knows that he's got some time in his pocket when he needs it. How much did he crash over the 3 days?
I don't know if he crashed much at all, to be honest.
I think it did.
The bike broke down the first day. His bike was breaking down, and he lost pretty much the whole day because of it. And
did he have like a small spill on day 1?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah,
but it wasn't anywhere near as much as what he'd do
on the Honda.
The Honda.
Yeah, so already
he didn't. On the first day, he didn't have his first Ducati crash. He only ran wide and made a save. That's right.
He made a save. Excellent. So he's not binned it.
I don't believe so. I'm just trying to find some information, but
yeah. So where are these Marc Marquez idiots now? Clearly was just riding a Honda far beyond its limits. And let's say he does start binning that Ducati. I think you probably see the lap times coming down as well.
Yeah.
Once he starts
Yeah.
really pushing a bike like that to the limit where it just can't hold on anymore. Could be good. It's going to be a great season.
Very good. It's going to be so good. Yeah, I'm not sure he's actually had that crash yet. Pedro Acosta's had a few crashes, but that's to be expected from
he's
a rookie.
But
yeah, Marquez, a guy I know who used to race in the Age of Talent Cup, said he was at the track and he walked up into the stands, looked over at the track and literally saw Marquez go around the corner and slide off the track and pick it up with his elbow, and he was like, I've just got it.
Oh my goodness. Oh dear. Love it.
But I'm just intrigued about Ducati this year because I will talk about Honda in a minute, but Ducati have improved in all areas. Davide Tardozzi has said that the Enea Bastianini that was at the test, who finished third, is the Enea Bastianini that they saw and knew in 2022.
That's good.
Is impressive. Ducati have improved by a massive margin, like well over a second. Every area they've said has been improved on the bike. And Bastianini said the bike is dramatically better than last year's bike.
That's insane.
That's bad news for everybody who isn't on a Ducati 24.
Do you know what? Because they said this, didn't they? They were saying towards the end of last season, they were like, just wait till you see the GP24. It's even better again. It's going to be a bigger jump than the 22 to the 23 was. I think they might be right. And I did not think it was possible. But we say this like every year, really, don't we? I mean, the 23 seemed like it was, I guess to us mere mortals, looked like perfect on track. It looked composed. It was fast. It was, smooth. It could turn. It would do everything. And now they've taken it and been like, oh yeah, this one's better in every single way. Oh, great, cool. So
fantastic.
Yeah, but so who's got a 24? Morbidelli.
It will be. Did they give it to Bez? I'm not sure if they did.
I don't think they did give it to the VR46 guys.
Yeah, Bezecchi was shunned a MotoGP bike for 2024. According to Autosport.
At GP24, yeah.
So he's got a 23, Bezecchi's got 23. So it's only Pramac and the factory team that have a 24.
Okay.
Everybody else is on 23.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if those four are just consistently, higher up the results than those on the 23. But you have to say that surely the bike that won the title quite comfortably last year is still within a shot with the right rider. Surely.
Absolutely.
It can't be that much of a difference where the right rider won't make up that difference.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Most riders can. Fabio Di Gio was very impressive during the test because
I
wondered, because obviously at Cassini it all clicked. He was working with Franchi Carcetti and everything just worked well in the last few races because he changed everything. But he managed to get, over the long runs, over 10 laps plus, on day 3, his lap time was the fastest of Martin Bastianini, Bagnaia, Leish, Vinales, Marquez, Binder, Acosta, Alex Marquez, Marini, Mir, Rins and Zarco. Over 10 laps. So he had the best sprint simulation pace.
That's
at
interesting.
The test, which shows that has actually translated over to the VR46 squad.
Yeah.
And isn't just something I was worried about, that it was something just exclusive to the Grassini team because he'd been with them since his Moto 3 days, barring 2 years at Speed Up, and he kind of knew them. But the fact that he's been able to change teams and still have that speed and consistency makes me feel better, because I was a bit worried, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, it was it could have easily been a flash in the pan.
Yeah, it could, and that's what I don't want to see, because he earned that ride last year, and now this year is about him actually going out and proving everybody that he did deserve that seat.
Yeah.
Which, of course, he won the race. Of course he deserves a seat, but
definitely.
Just solidifying that a little bit, I think.
What was the script with Bez then? Because, I mean, he's obviously a lot further down the order than we'd expect.
Crashed. I know he had a crash.
Ah,
His
did he?
suit
Right,
was
okay.
absolutely destroyed from the photos I saw. But I think he may have just been testing little things because he's moving up to 23 bike. Yeah, it was a bit further down. His last lap, actually, on the third day was his fastest time, and that put him 15th.
All right, okay.
Which is, yeah, interesting. I'm not really sure why. You see, he added a little thing with Rins, though, on Instagram.
No? What?
So it was the Championship of Rins, Bezzecchi called it.
All right.
And every time they go testing, he has to beat Rins, and Rins tries to beat him. And so they have this like Championship of Rins. And on, I think it was a Monday, or the first day, Rins won. And so Bezzecchi was like, right then, I'm now going to try and beat you. And yeah, on the last day of the test, on his last lap, he did pip Rins and finished 15th and Rins 16th, 0.12 ahead of him.
Wow.
0.012, sorry.
That's crazy.
Which is hilarious.
How did Rins do? So I'm just looking at the
16th. He actually did okay, you know. Like, I'm not expecting him to come out and absolutely smash everybody straight away, but I'm impressed. The Yamaha top speed looked good. Fabio Quartararo was actually top of the speed traps a lot throughout the test, which looks good. Yamaha were also testing that new rear wing thing. You know, like what looks like a TV box.
Oh yeah, the
little
the rake
things.
Yeah,
that's it. Yamaha were testing that. Honda also had one as well on the back of their bike.
Gosh. Well, it was the Aprilia one that got all the headlines, wasn't it?
It was, but yeah, because Aprilia, they had, I don't know if you saw the rear of their bike, the rear tail section, there's like little divots coming out of the back as well.
Did see that.
And Aprilia really did like change their setup completely. I'll just see if I can find any better images.
When are we going to start having like active aero systems like DRS and stuff, you know?
DRS, I think that is probably, I don't know if it's been banned or Ducati are probably on it. I know that the new Shark helmet this year has little fins at the back, because you know it has like that little wing thing at the back.
Yeah.
It's got these two little wing fins on it this year that open and close when you're on the straights due to the aerodynamics and can adjust themselves as you're going down the straight to give you more aerodynamics.
Interesting.
Which is very cool.
Helmet science.
Yeah. Shark are I like Shark helmets. I think they're the ones that really do push it, because they were the first ones back when Jorge Lorenzo was a Shark rider, and the first year of him in Shark in 2016. I remember he used like the normal, you had like the circular, you say like shaped helmet, and then he came out one day with that big fin on the back.
Yeah.
And then he tested that for a bit, and Scott Redden had it, and they all did that, and then sooner but over time, you saw Nolan riders suddenly have this little plastic insert on the back of it.
Yep.
AGV made theirs bigger. Then Arai had some little bits on there to improve aerodynamics. Shoei did it. Alpine Stars have now got a massive one on the back of theirs. KYT as well. But it was all because Shark were like, let's put something on that helmet to try and improve aerodynamics. And it worked.
Yep.
Because it's funneled the air right down the back of that shoulder, the back hump,
Yeah.
and improve the aero. And I like Shark because they do stuff like that. They kind of push the limits a little bit.
The Ducati of the helmet world.
Indeed.
If you will.
Yeah. They've had to pull out a lot of this year, though. Like, they've lost a lot of riders because they've just slashed budgets and are slowly withdrawing. Like, the X-Lite brand has been withdrawn. Nolan are the only one that exists. That's why Danilo Petrucci switched to Aero, even though his manager was a high-up person at Nolan/X-Lite group.
Really well.
Yeah,
Jeez.
there's lots of changes with that. But that's a story for another time, really. But yeah, on the testing front, Aprilia did have a lot of aero differences. But KTM, did you see their front fender, little F1 style wing on the front fender?
Did.
People did not like that. They said it like a Hoover.
I'd love to know the data that came out of that, if it made any shade of difference or like
Yeah.
what impact it had.
Because I think the reason they did that, personally looking in, was obviously it was the design. The wings are there to improve downforce, and not having the front ride height device, I think, means they have to look elsewhere for different ways to do it. And I think having a wing like that there will help to keep that front end down.
Yeah.
Obviously, we didn't really see too much of it after Danny Pedrosa tested it on the shakedown, but
have they scrapped the front ride height device this year?
Yeah, it was scrapped last year.
Was it last year? I feel like I can picture them doing it.
No, it was completely banned last year, wasn't it?
Was it? Where am I?
I don't even know.
Is this 2024?
Yeah, it's 2024 now.
What?
Yeah.
I feel like I can picture this. I don't know. Ignore me.
No.
Ignore me.
Okay, we'll carry on. But,
Yeah.
I am looking at the photo of that Honda as well, and the wings on the back are crazy.
Yeah,
They're like so many, so many
Stegosaurus.
shark fins on the back. But it's so funny because you see Ducati do something. Do you remember when Ducati put their shark fins on the rear tail section of the bike a few years ago?
Yeah.
Now everybody's got them. Everybody's got them.
That's
KTM
the way it
put the
goes.
little TV box on the back, and now everybody's kind of doing that as well to try and see it how it goes.
And it's so funny when you see these like sort of quick scrambles to copy almost. They really just look like they've been 3D printed and stuck on.
They are.
So funny. And they literally just 3D printed.
Teams have 3D printers. KTM, especially, have a 3D printer and do 3D print parts over race weekends to put on bikes.
That is amazing. I mean,
yeah,
I'm a genius. I've clearly got a great eye for 3D printed parts, but
yeah,
jeez. I mean, if it's cost effective and it like saves them having to lug as much stuff around and spare parts, then fine.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's motormatters.com. Yeah, KTM 3D printing advantage. Yes, KTM basically have a 3D printer and can just print stuff off whenever they want.
That's it.
Yeah, and they 3D printed a rear shock absorber as well.
You're kidding? Eh?
No.
How? I mean, I don't understand.
Housing.
Yeah.
So obviously not the outside of the spring, but the housing for the spring itself was all 3D printed from KTM.
Absolutely.
And obviously because they own WP suspension, they could just do their own stuff.
That's true. Yeah, that is wild.
Like, for me, I think KTM, like Ducati have a lot. They've got the Lamborghini influence. They've got a lot of money there.
Yeah.
KTM, for me, I think, with the right riders, maybe, even though I think they've got the right riders now, to be honest.
They do now.
Have everything there to overtake Ducati. They've got the budget. Red Bull turnover tens of billions a year. They've got the 3D printers. They've got Danny Pedrosa. They've got the best test team out of all of them. I was thinking this the other day because you look at Honda. They've got Stefan Bradl and a few test riders from Japan. Yamaha have Carl Crutchlow and then a few Japanese test riders, which again is great. Aprilia have Lorenzo Savadori, one rider.
Yeah.
Ducati have Michele Pirro, who's done a sensational job for the last few years. KTM have Jonas Folger, Danny Pedrosa, Paul Espargaro, and Mika Kallio if they really need him. Like, that is an insane
That's a lot of talent just for testing. Yeah.
That is a lot of Grand Prix victories and World Championship. That you got to forget, Paul Espargaro is a World Champion as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Mental, absolutely obscene.
And it's starting to pay dividends, isn't it? Because, I mean, where were KTM this time last year? Everyone was thinking, oh, God, like, Jack Miller's jumped in this bike. It's an absolute dog. Because they were, like, way down the timesheets, weren't they? And then they turned up in Portimao when things were just working.
Yeah, when and Jerez, everything clicked into place.
Exactly.
Like, wow. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is.
KTM, I think, and obviously they had the new wing as well that they were testing doing some testing with. But KTM are so well sorted out. They've got Red Bull, like I say. They've got the talent they've signed riders like Pedro Acosta in Moto 3, and they can put them all the way into MotoGP if they're performing well enough.
Yeah.
And it's paying dividends because Pedro Acosta is probably the most exciting rider since Marc Marquez.
Yep.
And KTM have gone, here's a contract for Moto 3, let's get you into MotoGP. And they've done it in, 3 seasons?
Yeah, exactly.
And then Pedro Acosta has continued that and then gone and topped the shakedown test, which Brad Binder then went and said, we never see these lap times from our riders in these tests at the start of the year. And then he goes and then does what he did, obviously, in the main test as well. And it's just the proof is in the pudding with KTM, and Red Bull backing it with their massive athletes performance centre as well. They are by far the best and most well set up team, I personally think, anyway.
I think you're right. Yeah, it's still zeroing in. It almost feels like Ducati in sort of 2019-ish, where it's like it's good, it's nearly there, it's nearly the best. 2020, same thing again. And then from then on, it was like, okay, now the Ducati is the bike. I think the KTM is going to have this from maybe 2025 and 2026, and then we're going to have these rule changes, and then I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, of course. No one knows then.
It's interesting, though. And obviously, if they can capture a little bit of that sort of magic, shall we say, that like something that their F1 team has, like, well, talking specifically Red Bull.
Yeah, of course. And they are using Red Bull engineers as well.
Exactly. Like if they can bring some of that over with those F1 engineers, then I see no reason why it won't be the best bike in the grid within the next year or two.
Yeah, and because they did improve a lot in 2020, and they were really good. 2021, they were good. 2022 is where they dipped.
Yeah.
And they came back up again last year, and I think now they're just back on that. They found their place again, they found their feet again, and they're on the way up. And
sometimes
having these 4 riders is great. And
sometimes to find what works, you need to find what doesn't work first. And I think that was a bit of 2022, you know.
And their rider roster's there as well. Jack Miller, like people talk down on Jack Miller, but you got to remember he led the Valencian Grand Prix at the end of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, he crashed. But he led the race on the KTM.
I mean, yeah, he's not there by luck, is Jack Miller.
No.
So
but
hopefully it all just kind of comes together again for him this year and a bit more consistently.
Yeah, and I think on the topic of obviously improving teams and riders, Honda have made an improvement.
They have.
Zarco said that the bike from 2023 that he rode at the Valencia test and the bike that he rode at the test in Sepang was 0.7 seconds faster, which is great, but obviously Ducati have made an even bigger step.
Yeah, sadly. Yeah.
But still, that's very good for Honda. Johan Zarco was actually excited about the bike. Johan Mir was very happy with the Honda and said that he's finally seen some really good improvements in Honda. Luca Marini was quite happy with it. Nakagami, I don't really know. I didn't really hear much about it.
I don't think he cares. He's just riding whatever he's given now.
Yeah, he's taking the paycheck and going out. Like Honda have improved a lot as well.
Yes.
I don't think they'll be in the mix, but I think they'll maybe edge out Yamaha on the constructors. Although Rins was only 1.1 from Bagnaia's record lap.
I think the Honda's at least not going to just try and kill everyone this year.
Yeah, and that's a major thing. I think.
If the riders can start to get a bit of like confidence with the bike and feel like they can start to flirt with the limits and not literally just fear for their life, then like we could see some solid top 10s, maybe even a top 5 if things like really work, like at Motegi or something. It's their track and it's all just it's all coming together. But like hopefully it is at least a more stable bike, shall we say.
I think that's the most important thing because the bike has to be fast, of course it does, but the bike needs to be rideable, and I think they've focused on getting it rideable and a bit more user-friendly. And I genuinely think, and this is controversial, Marc Marquez leaving Honda is the best thing that could have happened for Honda.
Yeah.
Because it'll now allow them to steer their bike in a direction that is away from Marc Marquez's riding style of needing to override the bike, needing to do all these fancy things, because that's how Marquez is. He's an overly aggressive rider, and the bike responds when he rides that way.
Yeah.
So now if they can move it into a smoother way, back when Danny Pedrosa was on it, Nicky Hayden was on it, Casey Stoner was on it.
Yeah.
That bike was so user-friendly. Stoner could hop straight on it and be top in the tests and things like that. And
Yeah.
even though he has an aggressive riding style.
I know, and I think when it comes to these 2027 rule changes, whatever they're going to bring, I think that's going to help Honda again, because, I mean, is there like any confirmation of what these rule changes are going to bring?
I know that they're saying there's nothing official.
No.
But there'll be restrictions on Aero, ride devices banned.
Right.
And smaller engine capacities as well, 850cc, I believe.
Yeah, so like it's going to become more in line with what Honda were really good at.
800s, they were class.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
800cc Aero, they were fantastic.
Same with Yamaha as well. I think it's going to come back to a bit more like classic. I say classic, obviously, like they're still prototype machines and they'll be pushing the boundaries where they can. But it's going to be more like a motorcycle again. Not that I hate all the aero and everything. Like, I think it's really great to see just what is possible. Cool. Like, you know, we'll look back on these times and be like, those bikes were absolutely wild. Like, the lap times they were pulling out is insane because of the technology. But yeah, it'll be nice to come back to something a little more I don't know, just nostalgic in a way as well, and it being maybe more down to the rider as well, because at the moment it is a case of like, if you're not on a Ducati, maybe a KTM, then you're not going to win the title. But hopefully that changes, you know. Yeah,
I think so. And the Aprilia looks good. Obviously Aleix was 5th in the test, which is impressive. Aleix obviously won 2 races for for Aprilia last year, sorry. And he was very good. Vinales wasn't the testing champion this year, which is an interesting one.
That means he's going to win a race this year.
Yeah, that does, yeah. And Oliveira's on the 24 bike. Obviously, we didn't get to see much of Ralph Fernandez because he had a crash and injured himself on day 1. Which is a shame because he's on the 23 hybrid with a 24. There are some fancy bits from 24 in it, but it's only a 23 until Mugello. But I think Ralph Fernandez he made a big step last year, and I think he'll make an even bigger step this year.
Yeah.
There is one rider who I've been itching to see what he can do, and that's Frankie Morbidelli. And he got injured and missed the whole test.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously, because who else would it happen to? He's like so unlucky, I swear to God.
Yeah, I don't know, and like, it's a shame because you do. How long a contract is he on?
1 year.
1 year.
He's got 1 year to prove himself.
You do feel like this is last chance saloon, and Ducati aren't going to be kind about him missing maybe a couple of rounds due to injury and like having to get back up to speed. It's a highly, highly coveted seat that he's on.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is a shame. It is a shame.
Yeah.
And I really hope he turns things around, because like, he was runner-up a few years ago.
Yeah,
he won
him on that
races.
Patronus was amazing.
Yeah. Like, we know he's fast. It's just something happened. A knee injury and a bad Yamaha have really just knocked his confidence, and this isn't going to help, sadly.
No, it's really not going to help, is it?
No.
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 No. But yeah, it is obviously a shame for him, because I think he'll do well on that Ducati, really well. The fact that in the top 3 of the test were GP24s. Like Bagnaia, Martin, Bassini were within 0.233 of each other, and that's a GP23 for each of them. The bike is fast. Frankie is fast. So surely it's gonna be good.
Yeah, you'd think so.
But
And
he needs seat time.
yeah, and like Bastianini, sure he won at Sepang last year and he likes Sepang.
Yeah.
But he's not been on great form, and for him to be able to jump on that bike and like feel really confident and put in smashing lap times, hopefully that also translates over to Frankie as well.
It
Hopefully.
better do.
It better. Why, have you got a tenner on
Really
him?
better. Oh, if he's out, nah. If I got a tenner on anyone, it's blimmin' Pedro Acosta.
Hey, do you know what? Might be a punt.
Yeah, it might be, you know. You never know. But
Gamble responsibly.
yeah, of course. I think I mentioned this before, years ago. But I won a bet years ago when I bet on the World Superbike BSB Moto 3 2 GP champion.
Oh, really? No
Yeah.
way. What year was that?
It was when Leon Haslam won. It was 2018.
Oh, okay. Well, MotoGP was easy.
Yeah, Marquez knows what? Martin, Bagnaia, Haslam, and Rhea.
Wow.
And
Nice.
I stupidly put 10p on it.
Oh, man. So you walked away with like a fiver or something.
Yeah, literally. I was like, wow. But then I
Jeez,
redeemed myself when I bet on Chanonsu to win at Valencia and won 300 quid from a fiver. So
Goodness
I was like,
me.
yeah,
Do you know,
you know
like,
what?
I hope nobody's listening to this thinking, do you know what? I'm going to start gambling.
No, I nearly did it the year after that when Javi
Stop
Artigas
it.
won at Valencia.
Stop it.
Yeah, don't gamble, please. Or
Don't.
gamble responsibly.
Gamble
Stop budget.
responsibly. Don't gamble any more than you can afford to lose. All that, yada, yada.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, two more things I want to say.
Ooh.
Obviously, testing has been good. We've talked about every team and every rider pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Francesco Bagnaia looks pretty darn unstoppable, though.
He's got a point to prove again, hasn't he? I think he wants to show
I think
that.
he's going to prove it.
I think he wants to prove that it wasn't just everyone's inconsistency last year. He is literally the man.
He is, and he just like people talk crap about him all the time. Whenever you go online, people like saying this, that, and the other. He's this, that. He's only got the best bike. He's only got this. But he goes out and he proves why he's a two-time MotoGP champion now.
Yep.
Every time. He set an absolutely disgusting lap record. We were like, I remember talking to some people before the day, after day 2, and they're like, oh, you know, we might see a 56 tomorrow. Like, it'll be slim chance, but we might see one.
Yeah.
And then he goes out and does that.
Well into a 156.
56.682.
Ridiculous.
What the hell, man?
Yeah.
He improved it by 0.4 seconds.
Yeah, it's
like
not,
the high end.
Not a 56.999. Like, no.
No.
Nope. Well in.
Yeah, unbelievable. And
it wouldn't surprise
just,
me if he was like, I could have gone quicker. It wouldn't surprise me because, I mean,
honestly,
the odds of it being an absolutely perfect lap are, you know, pretty low.
slim.
Like, yeah.
And this is, yeah, and you're right. And it's scary. I've got one little thing for you, though.
Oh, go on, then.
So, Anea was obviously 0.2 off.
Yeah.
Anea made a mistake on that lap.
Did he? Jeez, though.
He did.
Okay.
And threw the lap. So if Anea is throwing the lap and still hitting third, we could be in for a scrap.
Oh, this season's going to be
We
great.
could
And
be
like,
in for what we were looking for.
and Martin looks different, I think.
Dirty, doesn't he?
Yeah.
In a good way, obviously.
He's like, do you know what? This is, yeah, he's done playing around. He's here.
Yeah, this is my time. He
Yep.
knows what he could have had last year.
Yep.
And he is going to do everything he can to secure it and gain an Bastianini seat as well.
I don't think Anea's not going to go down without a fight here, though.
Well, you say that.
I do say that.
This is the other thing I wanted to mention.
Oh.
Enea Bastianini is strongly linked to Aprilia for 2025.
No.
Yeah.
No. To replace Aleix.
I assume so. Or Vinales, maybe.
Well, I think if Vinales doesn't do it this year, I think they might give him the chop as well.
You know what?
Yeah.
Sod off, like.
Give Fabio the seat, maybe.
Yes, honestly, yeah. Yeah,
it
could very much happen.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it, but I don't know. I don't feel like Ineos will have had like his full 2 years on that bike. Do you know what I mean?
I think he'll be very good this year, though.
I do, yeah. I think he certainly from this testing, he looks like he'll be a title contender. I'm just hoping that no bad luck comes his way to ruin it again. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be good. I'm so excited. So excited for this season. How long we got? About 4 weeks or something?
We've got exactly 25 days as per my countdown today.
Oh yeah, Raul Fernandez Day.
Yes. Indeed.
Goodness me. 25
so
days.
Excited.
Yep.
I can't wait. It's going to be so good.
So it's Qatar first, right?
Yes.
Yes. And those races are always on at a nice time of day for us as well.
Yeah, which I like. I do like that.
Yep. Well, is there anything else on the agenda today, Dick?
I don't believe so. We've got the Honda livery tomorrow, of course.
Yeah. Well, I'm not staying on this call for another 24 hours, I'm afraid.
No, thanks. But yeah, I think that's everything.
Yeah. Excited. Give us a quick rundown, Dick. What's your top 3 moments from this podcast or something? I don't know. Give us a TLDR. Too long didn't. TLDL.
Too long didn't read.
TLDL.
Right, here we go. TLDR. Are you ready? I'm
Go
gonna
on.
smash through it. Are you ready?
Right.
Testing, of course, happened. Lap records were smashed. Acosta was faster than Bagnaia over 9 laps on a sprint. Bagnaia was obviously very impressive with the lap record. Honda made an improvement of 0.7 seconds, but Ducati made an even bigger step. Is Marc Marquez sandbagging? Maybe. Lots more aero, Aprilia especially. KTM had their special wing. They've also got carbon wheels and a frame that they're going to test a little bit more at Qatar. Yamaha have got that rear wing as well. Honda as well. Ducati improved in every single area, and Enea Bastianini was described by Davide Tardozzi as being like its 2022 version. Aprilia are also eyeing up Enea Bastianini for 2025. And finally, Rins was only 1.1 from Bagnaia's record lap, meaning he could very well be in with the fight this year. Not for the championship, but within the fight.
Thank you very much.
I think I did quite well there.
Yeah, I think that was great. I think you should put like an epic soundtrack behind that and sell it to someone.
Yeah, I don't know who is buying that, but
well, it won't be me, but yeah, I got it live, so otherwise I would, I promise.
Yeah. Great, thanks. But yeah, I think that's all we've got time for.
Amazing.
Brilliant. So I think you enjoyed listening to this. I hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast. It felt really good. Obviously missing Lauren. Rest in peace. Not rest in peace, Jesus.
God.
She's only on holiday.
Lauren is fine, everyone. As far as we're aware.
It's fine. Yeah.
Oh my God.
She keeps ignoring us on the group chat, so I'm sure she's all
true.
right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame her for that. She could be sitting at home doing nothing. I would still ignore it. But
yeah, me too. It's boring as shit. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed listening, and we're back. Are we doing one next week? Is there anything going on? Is there any need to do one next week?
I don't think there's anything happening other than we've got the Honda livery.
When's the last livery reveal? Because we'll do our little thing 28th of February. After that, okay, once the 28th is done, we'll do our livery, ranking them, and then we'll do our predictions for this season.
Oh,
when's the Qatar test as well? Let's get that up quickly. We'll find out. Qatar test is the 19th of 20th of February.
Okay.
So we'll be back after that. That's next week.
That is next week.
So we'll be back on the 26th.
Okay.
We'll take next week off because we're lazy. We're very lazy.
Yeah. I mean,
and then
sounds good to me.
you're away, aren't you? You're on holiday?
Oh, yeah. Well, only for this week.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine then.
No problemo.
So no podcast next week, but we're back after that to talk more about testing.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Bye.
Right. Thank you for listening to the podcast. We're back next time. Goodbye.
Bye.